Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
I'm mad at the cast.
The cast is phenomenal.
Yeah. Damn. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The cast is ridiculous. All right. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. We are still watching Christmas movies. And next we are watching Mixed Nuts, starring Steve Martin, Madeline Kahn. There's like Liev Schreiber in there.
Yeah, Liev Schreiber, Robert
Adam
Klein
Sandler, Robert Klein, Gary
Rita
Shandling,
Wilson.
Rita Wilson.
John Stewart is in it as rollerblader number 2.
Oh, I'll have to look out for that. And the girl who Natural Born Killers, the girlfriend, Mallory.
Juliette Lewis.
I mean, a fucking stacked movie. And the director, she's dead now. Sorry to rain on our Christmas movie. Hold on, let me bring it up. Mixed Nuts.
Nora Ephron.
Who I'm not. It's not that I don't like. She makes good movies.
Yes.
She wrote and directed When Harry Met Sally, You've Got Mail, Bewitched, Julie and Julia, My Blue Heaven. I remember liking that with Steve Martin.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's made some pretty iconic movies. Like You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle and When Harry Met Sally has to be 3 of the biggest romantic comedies that aren't like they're not too cheesy. They're pretty good.
I can watch them. I can watch When Harry Met Sally probably more.
Yeah, that's a little more realistic.
Yeah. You've Got Mail.
I like better than Sleepless in Seattle. Sleepless in
Seattle, I really didn't like.
Yeah.
It's just, it got really annoying. But she also did a movie that has one of my favorite scenes of all time. And I've only watched this movie once. And then I vowed to myself I was never going to watch it again because it was so fucking shitty. But Michael with John Travolta, he plays an angel.
The angel when he fights the bull.
Absolutely. No, it's when he's talking to someone, a patient in the hospital, and he decides to speak Portuguese. And I was like, who was your vocal coach? Who told you to say it like that? I'm disappointed. But it's my favorite. And I will find that clip every year and I will send it to my friends and we all laugh and laugh and laugh.
That was a pretty big movie too, if I remember.
It was actually.
Now with the release December 21st, 1994. Thank you. At least you release it around Christmas. On a budget of $20 million. That's a lot for
1994. Yeah.
But like for what this isn't an action movie. This isn't had a domestic total of $6.8 million. So it did not do well.
No.
And actually, it opened on a Wednesday and collected $800,000 in its first 2 days. And while it collected another $2.3 million for the Christmas long weekend, it was only good enough for 12th place. And I never got this because me and my family never did this. We never went to the theater on Christmas. Never. I know for a lot of people, though, it is a big thing.
Yeah, no. A lot of people will celebrate with their family and then go to the movies.
Go see a movies, yeah.
Or not celebrate with their family and do a double feature. I've heard of that too.
Yeah. It collected another 1.6 for the New Year's long weekend, but that was only good for 16th place. Miraculously, it collected another 1.6 million over the next 51 weeks.
Damn.
So it did not do well at the box office. Let's go to the tail of the tape. December 21st, 1994. It is a holiday comedy, rated PG-13. Falls in line with like Sleepless in Seattle and When Harry Met Sally and all that crap. 1 hour and 37 minutes.
Respectable length
For
this,
a comedy.
yes.
Taglines. Oh, what's his name is in it too? The guy who plays the Santa Claus there.
The Santa Claus? Like the Santa Claus with an E?
No, with oh my God.
What you talking about, Willis?
What am I talking about? Give me 1 second here. It's bugging me now. Jon Stewart. Oh, maybe I'm looking. Yeah, Anthony LaPaglia.
Oh.
Yes. So he's in it as well. Sorry. Taglines. I just saw him at the corner of my on the thing here. All right. So a comedy on the edge.
Interesting.
That's it.
That is underwhelming.
Synopsis. Philip, Steve Martin, manages a suicide prevention hotline called Lifesavers, assisted by Mrs. Munchnick, Madeline Kahn. I do like Madeline Kahn.
Me too.
And Catherine, Rita Wilson. On Christmas Eve, Philip learns that their landlord, Gary Shandlin, is evicting them from their office. Amid all the unrest, Catherine proclaims her love for Philip. And when a transvestite, Liev Schreiber, and a pregnant woman, Juliette Lewis, enter into the equation, things get even more interesting. Now, that sounds ridiculous, but funny. And given the cast, this sounds great because I love Steve Martin.
Me too.
And
in most things.
I don't love all his movies.
Mm.
I don't. My Steve Martin is from the 80s, like Roxanne, Three Amigos. Yeah. What else has he done? But like things like The Jerk and All of Me came later, discovering him. He's made some really great movies, but he has made some not great movies.
Correct.
So
there have been choices made by him. There have been choices.
Yeah. And there is our picture. It's just Steve Martin wearing a Santa Claus hat, and he's wearing a suit with a bow tie, and within the white shirt is the rest of the cast. Mixed nuts. It's not a bad poster.
No, I mean it's fine.
Yeah.
They're really pushing the Steve Martin angle.
Yes.
And that's cool.
This is where it gets not so great. Rotten Tomatoes.
Lord. Oh, jeez.
31 critic reviews comes in at 13%.
Oh my.
I think we watched a Leprechaun movie with a higher rating. 5,000. So not a lot of audience here. 5,000 plus audience, 47, which is better than the 13, but not great.
No, it's still not great.
Critic consensus. Mixed nuts may provoke strong allergic reactions in all but the most undemanding film goers and the most forgiving Steve Martin fans.
Damn.
You may start with the positive.
Success is due almost entirely to the engaging, charismatic efforts of its various performers. David Nusser, Real Film Reviews, 2.5 out of 4.
That's not a great review either.
No.
Even for a Christmas comedy, it's blasphemous, delightfully so. Paul Schrodt, Esquire magazine.
Quirky, enjoyable comedy with an unknown Parker Posey on roller skates and Adam Sandler being charming in a real minor part. Brandon Judell, Popcorn Q, 3 out of 5. Two small players is who you're going to highlight?
Yeah, Parker Posey and Adam Sandler in 1994.
Okay. Wow.
I like Parker Posey. So yeah, it's not the cast that's got me worried. Oddly likable little comedy. Ken Hankey, Mountain Express, 4 out of 5.
Interesting, Ken.
All right, here's the rotten. You may start there. Yeah, that was all. That's it. That was all the positive ones that there.
Oh Lord. Even fans of Nora Ephron knew well enough to stay home and roast chestnuts on an open fire instead. Matt Brunson, Film Frenzy, 1 out of 4. Damn, Matt.
Wow. The beginning of Steve Martin's non-funny comedies. Ephron should know better as well. And he did. He made like Grand Canyon, LA Stories that were these drama with a little comedy. And when you're used to like The Jerk and Three
Yeah.
Amigos and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard. It's hard
Even
to
his
finish.
Cheaper by the Dozen, Father of the Bride they were funny. They're a little more
Yeah.
family funny, but they were still funny.
Efron's timing and sensitivity have deserted her, leaving behind only the sentimentality. Derek Adams, timeout.
Martin's comedic talent shows no signs of life in this truly abysmal adaptation of a superior French farce. Film 4.
Interesting. Awful. Even worse when you think about the caliber of talent involved. James Sanford, Kalamazoo Gazette, 0 out of 5.
Ooh.
Wow. That's harsh.
Kalamazoo indeed. Terrible comedy with a few amusing moments. Not dark enough on one end, not silly enough on the other. Fred Topple, About.com, 2.5.
So many nuts, so few laughs. Caffeinated Clint, movie hole, 1 out of 5.
How to take a stellar cast and do absolutely nothing with it. Scott Weinberg, eFilmCritic.com, 3 out of 10.
Tell us how you really feel.
Whew.
Every character shines with such dazzling intensity and such inexhaustible comic invention that the movie becomes tiresome, like too many clowns. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, 1.5 out of 4. Wow, Ebert.
IMDb. Let's see if
All
they
right.
liked it better. Only 14,000 user ratings, but comes in at a much better 5.4.
Right on.
You may go.
I don't even like nuts, but I love this movie. 10 out of 10, Tyler Shell.
Much more sweet than salty. 9 out of 10. Sunday at Dusk, prisoner number 97859.
Watch it. Take a deep breath and watch it again. 8 out of 10, call me creative.
Yeah, if it sucks, I'm not watching it again. Jeez, watch it again. As far as random, warm-hearted comedies go, this is one of the best. 7 out of 10, Miyagi.
A solid cast in a very dark comedy. 6 out of 10, S.D. Davis, 63.
Over-the-top screwball comedy just doesn't quite make it. 5 out of 10, Jeff W.S.
Nora Ephron assembles a solid cast for a greatly misjudged translation of a darkly comic French play with a great mismatch of director and material. 4 out of 10, Ionic Breeze Machine.
Mm.
That was deep.
Huh? 3 out of 10, Snoopy style. Huh? The fuck did I just watch?
Lord, please no. 2 out of 10, Archie Leach.
Now, what I realized, there were actually for one of the lower amount of people watching a movie we've done with only 4, there were quite a few reviews, and there were quite a few 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and not a lot of 5, 4, 3, 2. There were a shitload of number ones, like a lot.
I
So
can believe that.
you may go first.
Am I supposed to laugh at this? Funky A.
Worst movie ever, Ambrosia Honeysuckle.
Bad on a biblical scale, Penelope Danger.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried when we start bringing the Bible in.
Right?
Lost all my respect for Steve Martin. Through the Veil, 69.
So many stars, so little to like. America's Maximus.
That bitch Madeline Kahn ruined this movie. It didn't say that bitch, but it said Madeline Kahn ruined this movie. Yasmin Hillary.
With 6 exclamation.
6, yeah.
I can't even say exclamation. There
Exclamation.
points. There you go.
Yeah. Not 1, not 2, 6.
6.
All right, not looking good.
Yeah, no.
Terrible box office, terrible reviews.
Which is it's a really great cast.
It's a phenomenal cast.
Now,
right.
officially, I have never seen this movie. I know nothing about it.
Right. I have seen this movie probably in 1994 or 1995.
Yeah.
I would have rented it at a Blockbuster. Steve Martin, probably, and I would have been watching Saturday Night Live. Adam Sandler was on.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would have definitely rented this, and I haven't seen it since.
And I have never seen it. And when it was on the list, I was like, what the fuck is Mixed Nuts?
Yeah.
But I'm game. I'm game. Let's see this. Let's do this.
All right, let's watch the. Oops.
Hello, this is Lifesavers. Merry Christmas. How may I help you?
I have only 2 months to live.
I'm so sorry, sir. Everyone at Lifesavers is with you.
May I speak to a woman?
Hello, Merry Christmas, if it's all right to say that.
What's your name?
Catherine?
I want to ravish you like a wild animal.
Now stop it right this minute. We can't have that sort of thing.
Philip's job is solving other people's problems.
May I put you on hold while I run to my desk? You're not calling from a bridge or holding a weapon?
No.
Good.
But unfortunately, he's got problems of his own.
I don't know how to say this. My psychiatrist thinks we should break up.
I didn't know you were going to a psychiatrist.
Well, I'm not actually going to one. I've been dating one for 4 months.
And now it's Christmas.
Can we show a little Christmas spirit around here?
Merry Christmas!
Somebody's not in the holiday mood, I guess.
A time when the lonely
If you think your husband is having an affair, he is.
feel most alone.
Static again. Hello, hello.
I can't hear you.
Try clicking the little button. I'm having a problem hearing you.
Look, I'm at the end of my rope, and I want to die.
Click it, please. Go ahead.
I'm very lonely tonight. Is there any chance I could stop by and talk?
Well, if you are willing to make a small donation, say perhaps $5,000.
I'm kidding. I came right over. Do you have music?
I'm not like you, Philip. I'm not one of those people who's only good on the phone.
In my line of work, I deal with all kinds of people. None of them are what you might call conventional. Dancing with you makes me feel all fluffy.
Philip?
TriStar Pictures presents
I wish there were someone I cared for who cared for me.
Are you a professional ukulele player?
Oh, no, I'm a writer.
What do you write?
T-shirts.
Steve Martin
My heart is racing, and I'm feeling all nervous and sick.
That's the way I felt since the day I met you.
I wrote Save the Dolphins.
in the new comedy from the director of Sleepless in Seattle.
Catherine was very distressed, so naturally I had to comfort her.
Mixed Nuts.
Hello, Lifesavers. May I help you?
May I speak to a woman?
You are speaking to a woman.
All right, there was the trailer. We've looked at the box office, the tail of the tape, and the reviews. What's your prediction?
I think this movie is definitely going to depend on pace, because that trailer did not inspire me. But I'm like, maybe when it's like rolling through, if it has good pacing and I'm like, I can see where the jokes could objectively be funny. It just, the way they cut that trailer didn't make me laugh.
And who knows? It could be one of those movies where it was just way ahead of its time.
True. So true. Also, Liev Schreiber, super pretty.
Yeah,
like,
he's
super pretty.
I love Liev Schreiber. He's freaking awesome. Actually, that entire cast is awesome. That trailer.
I saw Jolie Fisher pop up and I was like, she's in this?
Yeah.
Anthony LaPaglia was so hot when he was younger. Oh God, so hot. Such a crush on him. But yeah, no, I really want it to be good. I have a feeling it might not be, but this is one of those movies I'm like, maybe you just need to watch it through and it plays better than what that trailer showed us.
Yeah. If I had to put money, I'm gonna say it sucks.
I mean,
but if I'm really hoping. Like, there's nothing better than being surprised.
Yeah.
But, here's hoping.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, we are going to go watch the 1994 Christmas movie Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin and a bunch of other people that you know. And when we come back, we are going to review it.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
Did you watch 1994's Mixed Nuts?
I did.
What was your initial thoughts?
That was one of the most terrible movies I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
But the sad thing is, like, as I'm watching it and I'm listening to the dialogue, I'm like, this should be funny.
Yeah,
This
it really should have.
be
With
funny.
that cast and
Like, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, if I'm picturing myself reading the script, I'm laughing at the script. There was some witty dialogue. It's a great cast. It should have been funny. I think I laughed like twice through the entire movie. Most of it I just watched passively, and I'm like, there is no magic here.
yeah, I did not like this movie. I bought this movie
Me too.
because it was the same amount as it was to rent it.
Correct.
I want to contact Amazon and ask them to kindly remove it from my videos. They'll be like, but you bought it. I'm aware of what I did.
Just take it away.
Yeah. Do you want a refund? No, I watched it. I don't want to in 20 years go, I wonder if it's good now. Because I'm going to be pissed if I watch this again. No,
Yeah.
I did not like it. It was shot like a stage play, and it did not work.
No,
I'm
it did not.
I'm sure the play in France or Deutschland or wherever the fuck it was from, I'm sure it was delightful. It just did not translate way. I like Gary Shandling's character.
Yes.
I like the guy I called to masturbate while I talked to the what's her name there?
The Rita Wilson. I don't remember her character's name. Hold on.
Gracie.
No, Catherine.
Oh,
Gracie was Juliette Lewis.
Right. Yeah, it could have been funnier if it was
so much funnier.
I don't know, should have been more R-rated or edgier or not this goofy puff piece. I don't know.
It was so weird.
Yeah, it needed
Like,
to be
and not
tweaked
weird in a
heavily.
good way. Like, it
Yeah.
was needed to be some character work. I think Madeline Kahn was probably the most honest. And Liev Schreiber. I was into those two characters. This just solidified my oh god.
Yeah,
what's his
they
name?
kind
Adam
of seemed
Sandler.
like they were in a movie. Everyone else kind of seemed
Yeah.
like they were in a play.
And I'm like, like it did feel very play-like, and it really did feel like they just kind of set up a camera in a theater and was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, do the play." And that can work.
And
100% that can work.
I wrote a couple notes like where did I put it? I'm sure I'll get to it.
believe
But
you.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this was just I think the character choices were misguided for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it felt really weird. And then there was like, I understand why you had to establish the rollerblade. It was just very it's so
Yeah.
hard to explain
Yeah, for
until
those
you watch it.
listening or watching, like there were no ha-has. None.
I had one
Or
haha.
like a
I had one
Oh,
haha.
did you get one? Okay.
I did get one, and it was this scene where Madeline Kahn, like Juliette Lewis, is in the bathroom, and Madeline Kahn's trying to get in. And
Oh
then
yeah, when
Juliette Lewis
she
opens
had to
the
go
door,
pee.
and then and then she's peeing behind the towel.
Yeah.
And that one but that was about it. Like everything else, I was just like, but it's funny because when you listen to the script, you're like, the script is funny. Like the script itself,
Everything there
funny.
was there to work. It just needed to be molded different or tweaked different or
Yeah,
something.
there were choices made. Like, I'm sorry, Rita Wilson, I love you, but her character was way too superficial and not way too like frolicking through a field of flowers.
Yeah.
There was no kind of realness to her because she obviously has feelings, conflicting feelings. She's obviously sad and dealing with the fact that she lives with her mother and she doesn't want to be. But you don't really, even when she's talking about when she feels like she's going to be alone forever, it feels so false that you don't have any empathy for her. Like there's no real depth to the character. You're like, it feels a lot of the characters felt very caricaturesque, which I had a problem with because I'm like, you're trying to sell me on this like people who want to help thing and that are also just having problems, but you're not really giving this like full commitment. It felt shallow.
Yeah, if you guys are listening to this, it practically almost ruined my Christmas. I had to put Charlie Brown Christmas on just to calm down. That's how. And this was a running theme for Steve Martin in the 90s. Like he had mild comedy hits like Family, like Father the Bride, House Sitter, Bowfinger, but he did, like we talked about, LA Story, Grand Canyon, and this piece of dog poo. Because like I Three Amigos, Roxanne, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Planes, Trains, all of Me, The Jerk. Yeah, those are great. And then he made not so great ones. But anyways, okay, let's go over this Christmas fruitcake of a movie. In Venice, Los Angeles, on Christmas Eve, an ex-con named Felix is being chased down the road by his angry pregnant girlfriend, Gracie. He accidentally runs into it and damages a Christmas tree carried by two rollerbladers. The opening is fine. Christmas music, Philip, Steve Martin riding his bike to work, the silly accident. Yeah, it was okay. An argument breaks out among them. A stranger named Philip tries to calm them down. They disperse, and Philip picks up the damaged tree and takes it into his office. And this was a running gag of the stupid tree and these rollerbladers because they go back and get another tree. Gets broken.
Yeah, and then that tree gets knocked down. And then when they're carrying a tree, not the rollerbladers, Felix, and when they're carrying a tree, the rollerbladers knock it down. Like,
yeah,
could have been funnier.
An argument breaks out. Oh no, here we go. So he takes it to the other, and this is where it starts to feel like a stage play, but like community theater. And nothing against community theater.
Community theater can be super good,
and it could be
especially if you're
super
in a small
shitty.
Can
But
also
I
be...
expect that from community theater. I'm fine with that with community theater. Not that I go to a lot of community theater.
I was gonna say,
when you have Madeline Kahn and Steve Martin and all these other people, you don't expect shitty community theater.
Well, the first scene is like where there's actual real conversation and interaction. It's with Madeline Kahn and Rita Wilson in the office, which is really just a really great apartment and a really great building with a fantastic elevator. But their interaction and the establishing of their characters is so surface. And I'm like, were you told just to be like super pleasant and like extra waspy? Like, was this the vibe you were told to go for? Like, give me a little bit of snark, because I feel like Madeline Kahn's character needed to have a little snark. You know, give me a little bit of like, you know, an eye roll from Rita Wilson's character, something. Because all it is pleasant talking and isn't this great? And you shouldn't do that. It'll be fine. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah, here's my note from movies that do it well that are like stage plays, like Glengarry Glen Ross, 12 Angry Men, The Hateful Eight, the Quentin Tarantino movie, pretty much takes place all in one room. They do that very well.
There are so many good ways to do it. I just feel like choices were made and they were the wrong choices. I'm just going to say that.
Philip runs a suicide prevention hotline called Lifesavers. Working there with a judgmental widow named Mrs. Munchnick, that's Madeline Kahn, and an overly sensitive woman named Catherine. Catherine obviously has a crush on Philip, but he seems oblivious. Yeah, we got that, like you said, the Munchkin and the Catherine. And I'm already starting not to care. And what made me so much more pissed off is that my 7-year-old took my phone. So I'm sitting on the couch, forced to just watch this movie.
I do not have a 7-year-old. So when the Reddit alerts started coming up, I was like, oh, there's a new Reddit story. I'll just like because I was trying so hard. I was trying so hard. I was like, let me be engaged. Let me be engaged. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? When I was reporting in for my EI this today, just before watching this movie, I was having more fun doing that than I was watching this movie. Just FYI.
I swear I've probably already by now hit the pause twice to see how much was left to go. And I hit the pause button regularly to see how much there was to go in this movie.
It was one of the most just boring movies I've ever seen in my life. And I have seen a lot of boring movies. Like a lot.
Yeah, this is out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Philip receives an eviction notice from the landlord, Stanley, who is planning to convert the building into condominiums. This is also weird because, like you said, the offices here already look like apartments or condominiums.
Yeah.
There's nothing officey or business about them. They look
Not
like
even a
they're
thing.
done and ready to go. I did like Gary Shandling here, though. He's such a douche.
He really is.
Unscrewing the light bulbs, every third light bulb to save a couple cents.
And flipping off the exit sign.
Yeah.
And just asking the most random questions as he goes, like
about
do they
how
drink
people
glass?
died. Yeah. Do you think they drink
glass?
glass?
Do you think? I mean, but do they?
He's like, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
That
was a good interaction. I was like, oh, okay.
That was pretty good. I'm like, yeah, it gave you little senses of false.
Yeah, because I was
kind of interesting would happen. You're like, oh, okay, we're picking up, and then we're down again.
After the thing with yeah, because I literally just had this thought. I was like, because the opening scene, it feels very staged. It doesn't feel like real life.
No.
So you're like, okay, this is just a random interaction, whatever, over the top acting, fine. And then you get into the apartment building / office building, and it's great. And, there's that interaction with Gary Shandling, who's the ultimate dirtbag landlord, who's just like, well, sucks to be you. January 2nd, peace out. So do they drink glass? Like turning light bulbs, flipping off lights. And you're like, love him. Maybe this will get better. Spoiler alert, it did not.
No, it got worse. Longer. Philip keeps his eviction notice a secret from his co-workers and tries to get his loan officer fiancée, Susan, to grant him a small loan to stay in business. Susan refused to grant the loan and breaks up with Philip, saying she has been cheating on him with a psychiatrist. And he takes it very well. Pretty well.
He just says, oh, okay. Well, she did say she didn't want to do it over the phone. She was going to fax him. But he doesn't even have a fax. And I was like, honestly, that's very timely for 1994. And I think that could have actually been funny. But it wasn't.
No. The hotline is not too busy on Christmas Eve, but they do get a call from a woman who is afraid of the Seaside Strangler, a serial killer who has recently targeted women in the neighborhood, and a call from Chris, a depressed trans woman who wants to visit the office in person so as to get away from her judgmental family. Why do they keep calling him Arnold? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's bigger?
I guess.
Like,
is there a movie that Arnold Schwarzenegger did where he dresses as a woman?
I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for picking on individual family members.
I mean, isn't that how you show love? That's how we show love in my family.
And we don't just concentrate on one person. It usually goes around the table.
You share it for everybody. When we had our family reunion one year, it's like we love hard. I made the motto of our family: we love hard, but we mock harder. Like that's how we show love. If we're not making fun of you, that's because we don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah,
and we don't actually want
you're
you
not
there.
considered family.
Yeah. So I mean, that like when he said, "Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger," and I was like,
I guess he was bigger than everyone else, but I'm like,
I guess
they all started
like,
chanting
that's
Arnold,
super weird.
Arnold. I didn't get it.
Yeah, and then as soon as he walks out, or she walks out, my bad, because she does say in this, "I am a woman" when she answers the phone, and I was like, oh, okay, so you're fully trans. Got it now.
It would have been funnier if it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, maybe. I'm sure he'd look very pretty in a dress.
I am a woman.
It's not a tumor.
Yeah, it's not.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. Mrs. Munchnick's shift ends, but she gets trapped in the elevator as she leaves. She eventually manages to get Philip's attention, and he manages to pull her out. And there's a whole. She starts opening presents,
Yeah.
starts playing with the drums and the microphone, karaoke microphone, to get people's attention. Again, this could have been funny. It just fucking wasn't funny.
It fell super flat. And, Adam Sandler, this is when we're introduced to him because he comes in.
yeah.
Apparently, he's a resident of the building. He's taking out his mail. He's carrying a big random tree. I think that was supposed to be a funny prop. Look at the odd thing he's carrying. But I'm like,
Yeah.
not that odd. Like, if he was carrying a mannequin, maybe.
Yeah.
That would have been a little weirder. And I would have been like, the fuck is he going to do with that? Because
It'd been funny. Maybe a sex doll.
anything. Skis.
Yeah.
Watermelon. Have him carry a watermelon.
Yeah.
What? Something. Anyways,
And then have him fuck it. That would have been funnier than this movie. Look what I'm going to go fuck in my room.
Maybe we
Maybe
don't.
not.
Maybe not. But yeah, so he walks in and he's got a Walkman on. Yes.
Yeah, Walkman.
He can't hear anything. He's singing along to the Walkman. Madeline Kahn,
Trying to get his
Mrs. Muchnick, is
attention.
trying to get his attention. And then he kind of moves out and she throws the fruitcake.
Yeah.
Fucking fruitcake. Because Philip gives her the fruitcake for Christmas. She says it looks awful like the fruitcake I gave you last year. And he's like, well, then Merry Christmas. Have a great day. And so she takes the fruitcake, then she throws it down, and then eventually it makes its way back upstairs. I don't remember how. This movie is so forgettable. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, how does it get back? Yeah, I think, I don't know. Yeah.
Somebody brings it back
I
up.
think maybe Louis, Adam Sandler's character. And we also get a
Maybe.
bit more of Gracie and Felix, and then we find out she wants a more stable man in her life, not him, because he's an artist. She wants a businessman, because that's exactly what a businessman's looking for. A 20-year-old knocked up chick.
But I think she has her own business. Like she has her own shop.
Yeah, and she lives in the back of the shop.
So she's got her life together, mostly.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't.
He does not.
No.
He bought a Santa suit.
Yeah. Gracie arrives at the because she's like, I could have sold that Santa suit and got a car seat. He's like, we don't even have a car. And
when you say the joke, it's funnier than when they said.
The director really fucked up. And maybe the actors refused to. I don't know.
I don't know what direction they were giving or what choices, who made the choices, but somebody fucked up.
Yeah, hard. Gracie arrives at the office to see her friend Catherine. Felix, chasing Gracie, also shows up. Gracie hit Felix in the head with a fruitcake, giving him a concussion. So Gracie actually pushes the button a couple times. The elevator starts. Munchnick and Philip are already trying to get out, and then they get stuck on the top, and they think they're going to die. This could have been funnier. And then I wish they died, and the movie fucking ended here. I was like, oh, please let them die.
They were never going to die.
No. Then she had to go pee, but Gracie locked the door, and everyone's pounding on the door. She unlocks it, and everyone falls through the door onto each other like you would in a play.
Yeah.
Then she locks the bathroom, and then they get to they're all paying on the bathroom door trying to get it. This sucks because I did not like this movie, and now I'm forced to relive this experience by going over it.
Okay, but hold on. So Gracie opens the door. Mrs. Munchnick comes in. Then she goes to close the door. They all like barge in. They're all having a conversation about something, and then we see Mrs. Munchnick like peeing behind a towel.
Yes, behind that,
She's
which
held
was
up a towel for
amusing.
private. I laughed a little bit. There was a little.
I didn't
bit
laugh,
of a,
but it was like
aha, that's good. Because her face, the face that she made when they all looked over at her, and she was just like perfectly calm. Thank you, Cheese Toast. Yes, we did do this to ourselves.
yeah, we did pick the movie.
Oh, we'll make better choices at some point. I don't know when. But yeah, so I mean, that moment kind of, because everybody just kind of looks over at her, and then you see this perfect. She's just got the towel up. She's very prim and proper, and I was like, that moment was great because she's like, I'm still gonna have privacy, even though I have to pee in front of all these people. That was funny. And that was the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could see this all working as a play. I could see this be a play like this would be probably a lot funnier, but there's a big difference between a play and a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to take a play and make it a movie, you have to change and alter and do it a little differently. Yeah. I don't know.
In direction and in acting. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, because a lot of times I'll watch movies and, you know, my friends will be like, oh, that wasn't. I was like, oh, they were theater acting. You can't theater act on screen.
No,
Theater acting on screen, it comes across weird. It doesn't translate, because there's a very specific way to theater act versus film act. But we can go into my dissertation on that at another time. Let's continue with the movie.
Philip and Catherine take Felix to a veterinarian friend to get treated for free. Did Catherine go?
Catherine, yes.
Yes, okay.
Because Catherine was in there. And then that's when she kind of loses it on after.
Right, okay.
Felix gives himself dog tranquilizers.
Yeah, and this is where we get Rob Reiner as the again, this could have been
As
very
the
funny
vet.
too.
Yeah, it could have been hilarious.
Oh, here we go. And Felix accidentally overdoses on dog tranquilizers. He is taken to a hospital. Chris arrives at the office. Grace opens the door for her so quickly that she accidentally strikes Mrs. Munchnick and knocks her unconscious. Gracie asks Chris to look after Mrs. Munchnick, then leaves. Philip returns to the office. Chris strikes up a conversation with him and convinces him to dance. Okay, I will say the uncomfortable dance wasn't funny. It was amusing.
Yes.
Where he didn't want to
Because
dance.
it starts super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's that moment where you're like, of course I would do that embarrassing thing with you to make you
Yeah.
feel better. And then they're like, okay, let's do it. And you're like, I meant like hypothetically, but okay. So they start and it's very uncomfortable in the beginning, but then they both really get into it.
And yeah, by the end, they're giving a dancing performance.
And a good one at that.
Yeah. So
I
this was
like, oh.
amusing.
Yes, I will give it amusing.
Better than what has come before it.
Yeah.
Miss Munchnick awakens, witnesses their dancing, and threatens to sue Philip for withholding information of the eviction and inappropriate office behavior. She leaves. Gracie gives Catherine a makeover. Then they return to the office with Chinese food. And also they see Louis and invite him up as well because he wrote a song for Catherine. And obviously he has a crush on Catherine, but it's never really explored in this movie.
No, because immediately Louis' interest is then kind of transferred to Chris. And I'm like, well, obviously he didn't have that much of a thing for Catherine if he's all like, oh, hey, Chris.
Yep. Downstairs, neighbor Louis, who has what epiphany I had, who has a crush on Catherine, joins them. Meanwhile, Philip throws the fruitcake out of the office window and accidentally smashes the windshield of Mrs. Munch's car, just as she is about to drive away. Fellow neighbor Mr. Lobel approaches her with his 3 dogs and tries to cheer her up. Oh, yeah, he was also past her. She reported his dogs. He was like, I hope she dies in the elevator and stuff. It had the recipe here. Like I know we keep saying this, and if you watch it, you're like, how is this not funny?
I see why every single actor either said yes to this movie or auditioned for it. I see why. The script itself,
like
really good.
And then you're like, oh, Steve Martin and Madeline Kahn. Oh, okay, I'll join this one.
It should be amazing.
And then you watch the screening with everyone, and then you turn to your manager and you're like, you're fucking fired. Or your agent. How could you let me do this piece of shit? Mrs. Munchnick suddenly kisses Mr. Lobel, Robert Klein. They run off to the beach and have sex. There we go. I just donated money to Wikipedia again today for their Christmas. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, no, I was watching that and I was like, are they having sex? I was like, are there dogs? The dogs are all over them.
Yeah.
Like all in between them, all on top of them. And
gross.
I was like, that's weird, but okay, choices.
So now I'm screaming at my 7-year-old to bring back my phone. She does not.
Of course she
An
does.
hour later, Felix, having regained consciousness and escaped from the hospital, arrives at the office brandishing a gun. Chris
Mhm.
attempts to disarm him and gets shot in the foot.
Correct.
Gracie takes the gun and shoots wildly around the office to empty all of the ammunition. 2 shots go through the front door and they kill the landlord, Stanley, who had just showed up to try to fix the elevator.
That wasn't bad.
That wasn't
That's
bad.
yeah. You just
And-
have to empty it, and she just starts wildly shooting.
Yeah.
Then they're
And
like,
reading
"Stop."
this, if you just read this and you're like, haven't seen the movie, like, this is crazy. This is,
Yeah.
that sounds like a hilarious movie.
It
It's
should
not.
be zany. This
Yeah.
movie was not zany.
No, it wasn't zany. The sight of the dead man puts Catherine in shock. Philip prepares a bath to calm her down, and they fuck. That's Wikipedia for you. No, it is. That was me.
I
realized
know that
he,
was you.
and then he realizes he's attracted to her. Catherine and Philip have sex in the bathroom. That's Wikipedia. Meanwhile, Louis and Chris start flirting with each other. Louis makes up a song for Chris on his ukulele. I did like when he was going to get the bandage and stuff and all that stuff for Chris, and Chris
Yeah.
is sitting there. He's like, "Hello, I just want a band-aid. Can someone please help me? I'm bleeding to death here." And it was just a nick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gracie and Felix disguise Stanley's body as a Christmas tree. They wrap it in burlap and attach the branches of the office Christmas tree with super glue. Everyone leaves the office to help carry the tree and leave it on the boardwalk, along with the bag that Stanley was carrying outside. They encounter the angry rollerbladers from the first scene, who recognize Felix and decide to destroy his tree for revenge. The tree crashes to the ground and reveals the dead body. The police arrive and ask for an explanation. This is just stupid. Philip says the gun is Felix's, but then Gracie confesses to the crime instead. Not wanting Gracie to go to jail, Felix grabs the gun, runs to the roof of the building, and threatens to commit suicide. Philip must be a real lifesaver now and convince Felix not to kill himself. He makes an emotional speech about Christmas, which convinces Felix to climb down and face the consequences. Meanwhile, the detectives have been investigating Stanley's bag, which luckily Gracie said, "Oh, this bag was his." Yeah. So they find fishing line and kelp and seaside strangler weapons of choice, revealing Stanley to be the serial killer. No follow-up, no investigation. Oh, this is his. Maybe it was fucking hers.
Yeah.
These are horrible police
And then it's like,
officers.
you just killed the Seaside Strangler.
And 1 second they have motorbike helmets on, and the next second they don't. And I'm like, I'm getting mad. And this is just, and they're like, and she's like, Gracie's like, is there a reward? And they're like, yeah, 250,000. And then she's like, how much do you need, Philip? And he's like, 5,000. She's like, oh, that's a lot, but I'll give it to you anyways.
Yeah.
To pay off the debts. Then she goes into labor, giving birth at midnight on Christmas Day. The scene parodies the nativity of Jesus. Philip then proposes to Catherine, and she accepts. In the end credits, Felix finally fulfills his dream of becoming a mural artist, painting a mural depicting everything that happened on the eventful Christmas Eve. And it looked like a fucking 8-year-old painted that thing.
Correct.
Which I'm sure was on purpose to make to show he's a shitty fucking artist.
There's a reason Felix, but I'm like, give me some of his art beforehand. Like, have him show something to Gracie and be like, babe, and her be like, oh, sweetie, that's a good try.
Yeah, or that could have been a running joke.
Hard.
His
Yeah.
art, and everyone being like, that sucks.
And then he gets the mural at the end with the by Felix at the end.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's really great that when they're trying to smuggle the body tree through the streets, Gracie is dressed as the Mother Mary, Jesus's mama. Lends itself to the whole thing.
Happy coincidence.
It was totally accidental. It's a smart choice on that. When Catherine gets her makeover, which really she just puts on a more revealing dress, super pretty.
Yeah.
And she got a little bit of makeup put on and her hair put up.
Yeah, I would have banged her on the bathroom floor right beside the toilet.
Hey man, hey, sometimes you just gotta, when you're about to undress someone, to get into a bath.
Yeah,
because they're in shock.
Kids. Yeah, because they're in shock.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, Really?
I think you're kind of taking advantage of her.
This is a little ick. Because I was like,
And you could have
no.
used that as a joke. Like someone else goes, really? I thought she was in shock. I
Yeah.
think you're
And
taking
then
advantage of her,
when
man.
what's her name? Jolie Fisher, Susan, comes to the door and she's like, I want to talk to Philip. Is he here? He's taking a bath with Catherine.
Yeah.
That I was like, that bad delivery on that line. Too bad. The delivery on lines was good delivery of lines was few
Very
and far
far,
between.
yeah.
And it was very, I'm like, there was no good pacing to this movie. None whatsoever.
No.
I don't know why they picked. It's like they picked a romantic comedy. No, not even a romantic like a historical romance pace and applied it to this movie. And you're like, they don't match. A lot of bad choices were made. But I mean, it is what it is. They
Yeah.
made the movie.
Well, this is our movie. So what's your score?
My score is skip it. Skip this motherfucker. Now, if you're a glutton for punishments and you kind of want to see what we're talking about, stream it. Don't pay $4.98 for it. Buy or rent. Don't do that. If it ever pops up on a streaming service for free or on TV, by all means, watch it at that point. Satisfy your curiosity. But there is no reason anybody needs to watch this. And it makes me sad because the dialogue is great. The actual, like, I think the actual
idea.
script was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cheese Toast. Cheese Toast says, I'll be honest, I was never going to watch it. And
Don't.
valid. Don't do it. It is not worth anybody's time. It doesn't do anything other than show you that Liev Schreiber looks amazing in a dress. Kind of mad about it. So pretty.
Well, my score is this movie sucks balls. This movie sucks. So if there was a line, a row of balls, a line like a mile long,
yep,
this movie would suck all those balls.
Amazing.
Oh my god, this movie sucks so bad. I mean, I didn't even want to write anything witty. Not that I write a whole lot of witty.
But you do write very in-depth analyses.
Yes, I didn't even want to. Yeah, no, it's plain and simple. Skip this movie. This movie is horrendous. I'm mad that it's in my, because I'm collecting a lot of. I started buying some 4K, but I still buy movies that I'm not going to pay $40, $30, $20 for a 4K. I'll buy digitally, in my Amazon account. But now I have to see this box art every time I go through, and it makes me mad. No, it had an amazing cast.
Yeah.
The script dialogue you just had to tweak it a bit, and you need it to be much different pace, maybe a little edgier, or if you don't want to go edgier, like you said, a little zany, just a little cuckoo, whatever the fuck. Yeah, I don't get it.
Play into
not
the
like she's in
craziness.
Play
into the craziness that's in the script. They were all playing it straight. And you're like, no, you gotta have some wackadoodles. Like, otherwise it's all one note through the entire thing. So you're not getting any of the laughs.
Yeah, no. I can't stress this enough. Do not watch this movie. Like, we're gonna do the thing at the end of just before January there, where I think we're gonna go through all the movies that we did. Like,
yeah,
what was our favorite? Was our biggest surprise? What movie did we hate the most? Well, guess fucking what? Unless there's something really horrendous on the horizon, I think we only got like 3 or 4 movies to go.
Yeah,
and they're all Christmas movies, so I can't see one being worse than this. I think Mixed Nuts might be the worst movie we've reviewed this year.
I'm gonna have to go over the list one more time.
I can't remember all the movies we watched, but I don't know if there's a movie that was. I'd watched Leprechaun 2 before I watched this.
Actually, me too.
Maybe not Grizzly 2. Did we do Grizzly 2 this year or last year?
I think we did it this year.
Might be a big fight for the worst movie.
Maybe they duke it out.
Because that was a shit movie too. Although I did like what's his name being the French fucking bear hunter. At least that was amusing. No, there was nothing I really like. There were a couple amusing parts. And it just made me more mad that the director's not an idiot. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Like, they're not my favorite movies, but she made When Harry Met Sally and You've Got Mail and all that. So she
Yep.
knows how to direct. I don't know what went wrong here.
Something went horribly wrong, like really horribly wrong. And maybe this is where she learned all of her lessons. It's
Or
funny
they were
'cause-
like, you know what? Let's try something different. And then we're like, oh, that fucking sucked. Well, we could do that again.
She directed Julie and Julia, which I loved.
I don't know if I've seen it.
She directed You've Got Mail.
Sleepless
Julie and Julia
in
was super
Seattle.
good. Sleepless in Seattle, which
She directed My Blue Heaven. I think she directed.
No, she didn't direct My Blue
she
Heaven.
wrote it?
She directed Michael. She wrote My Blue Heaven, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, she wrote it.
Okay. Yeah, she
But
directed. I'd watch Michael before this.
Oh fuck! Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'd watch
Oh, well.
a lot of things that she's directed before this. I'd watch so much stuff before this. This was not.
Yeah, I don't plan on ever watching this again, whether I own it or not.
Look, I was expecting it to not be the greatest. I will fully admit that. Like I was like, but I'm sure I'm with this cast. Nora Ephron. It's gotta be at least a little funny.
Yeah.
It was not. And I kept waiting for the joke, and the joke would happen and it wouldn't land.
No.
And I'm like, who's making the choices? Who decided that the character should be like this? Who decided that we're going to shoot this scene like this? Like, was there a discussion? Was it collaborative, or was this all just Nora Ephron being like, you know what, let me try something new? She should not have. This did not work at all. And I'm mad. And I'm mad that I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm mad that I own it.
Yeah, I'm very mad that I own it. Well,
But I was
everyone,
like, rent for $4.98, buy for $4.98.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And now, on the off chance that it was like ahead of its time, a diamond in the rough, more understood now. Yeah, it was none of those. None.
Nope.
Well, thank you for coming back to 1994 with us and previewing and reviewing Mixed Nuts. If you watched it because of us, we sincerely apologize. And if you were waiting, and if you're waiting on us to see whether or not you wanted to watch it, again, you have two giant skippets. Do not watch this movie. You will be pleasantly enraged. All right. Well, again, thank you. I hope you're having a good Christmas. And oh wait, I didn't get the stupid thing ready.
What stupid thing?
But blame it on the out video.
Oh.
Blame it on Mixed Nuts again. Until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.